I want to talk about the top 5 reasons why I think it's a really good idea to get into Amazon FBA, especially here in Australia in 2023. Hey, what's going on? It's Jack Peralta here, and I haven't done Amazon FBA content in a while, but I think it is time to get back into it. Amazon FBA is a huge opportunity. I'm going to run through a few reasons as to why I think that is, and why I think you should really heavily look at getting into it, especially in Q4 of 2023. First one is that it's never been easier to get into Amazon FBA in 2023. With the resources available, things like product research, you have Helium 10, which is a product research software. Okay, you have Chat GPT, you have all of this AI stuff, this integrations with AI coming into, integration with the Amazon business, and just really the barrier of entry. It doesn't cost as much to start as what it used to. Okay, now especially being here in Amazon Australia, you don't need as much capital to get started with. The barrier of entry has never been low. Okay, the resources that are available to you, obviously we've had internet for quite some time now, but just what's available out there in terms of product research, in terms of getting yourself started with Amazon FBA, especially in 2023, the barrier has never been lower. Okay, so really the resources available to you really going to be what's going to be able to set you up with this Amazon FBA business. But I think it's, a lot of people say when I first started back in 2017, or a lot of people said, it might have been too late back in 2017 when I first started talking about, when I first started doing it myself, right? Back then, I said it was the golden age of Amazon FBA, but I still think we're in the golden age of Amazon FBA, at least here in Australia, okay? In the US, you can still sell, right? And it still is quite good to sell in that market, but the golden era for Amazon, what I mean by the golden era is that the competition is not too strong, but the market is still big enough for you to make money here in Australia. So I think that we're still in a golden era, but the barrier of entry is so low. You don't need any specific kind of skill sets, okay? It's just going to take time to learn this business model. But especially, in the Aussie market, when I first started, there were no product research softwares, at least any accurate ones, where you could find, what products were working. You didn't really know. It was basically like a lot of trial and error. So that's the first reason, is that it's such a low barrier of entry. And if you want to look at things like how to set up your account, product research, I have a lot of those videos on my channel, so please check them out. The first one is there's such a low barrier of entry. Now the second one, again, coming into the Aussie market, is that Amazon Australia is still growing at a rapid rate, okay? And what I mean by that, and why this is important to you, is that the customer base is growing, okay? If you look around, you'll see so many people these days. If you compare it to maybe 4 to 5 years ago, you'll see a lot of different Amazon packages, okay? If you live maybe in a unit block, what I do, you see a lot more Amazon packages, but you see a lot more, you hear about a lot more people talking about Amazon. And that really plays a factor into it. They're the important things, okay? Maybe 4 or 5 years ago, you might not have even looked at buying anything on Amazon. But as a consumer myself as well, I buy a lot on Amazon, and it just comes down to the convenience, it comes down to the product quality, and these things really matter, but not just for you as a consumer, but for you as a seller. Okay, the Amazon market is growing, and that means the customer base is growing. That means you have access to a lot more people, okay? So when it comes to Amazon, you don't have to create your own website or anything like that. Amazon FBA, you're utilizing Amazon services. So when you ship your product to Amazon, you've got your product in front of all of those hundreds of thousands, millions of people to sell your product to. You don't have to create your own website. You're basically utilizing Amazon services, and you're utilizing Amazon's customer base for your own product. Okay, so the market is ever growing, and especially in Australia, we're at that point where it's really strong. There's enough competition there that it is validated to actually launch a product in this market, and to actually grow something that's going to be beneficial. And what I mean by grow something is grow a product, grow an income stream on Amazon FBA here in Australia, in the Aussie market. Really great for beginners, this market, and it's actually validated to do so because there's enough customers here now where you can actually start making some good sales, some good profit. Number 3 is that it's a beginner-friendly model. Now, what I was talking about, Amazon FBA is like quite a low cost of entry sort of barrier. Now, it's not as low as, say, something like dropshipping, where you only need like a few $100 to start testing products. You don't need a little bit more than that. But what I mean by low barrier of entry is that you don't need any specialist sort of expertise. You don't need to know about IT. You don't need to know about website building. You don't need to know really about advertising. Okay, there's Amazon PPC, which is Amazon's advertising, but you can worry about that down the line. But the main thing you really need to worry about as a beginner is finding a product, and that's really the hardest part. The rest of it's easy. You don't have to build a website. You can just use Amazon's platform. You upload your product, your photos, your product shipped to the warehouse. And a lot of people think that shipping the product to a warehouse is the hardest part in talking with suppliers. Really, it's not. There's some learning curves to it, but once you find a product to sell, the rest of it actually falls into place. But Amazon FBA is such a beginner-friendly model. I think it's one of the easiest to get into. Okay, you don't have to be some tech whiz. You don't have to know a lot about all these different platforms. All you need to know about is finding products, okay, which obviously does take time, and the process takes time to learn. But once you find your product, you're pretty much ready to go. You don't have to look at your product at all. It's basically a very, very beginner-friendly model. And I think it's one of the easiest to get into if you're looking at building yourself an online income. Now, the fourth point is the ability to scale. That is a really big thing. So when it comes to Amazon is a cash flow business. Now, the ability to scale is huge. So if you're selling a product that is in demand, you're obviously competing with other people. The ability to scale is there because it really comes down to what your initial budget is, how many sort of units you can get into your product when you first start selling it. But it's a cash flow business. So let's just say if you get in 50 units of your product in the first month, you sell those 50 units, you have enough profit left over to buy 100, you sell 100, your next order you buy 150, okay, and then you keep growing and growing. But the ability to scale is huge, and it's really only capped by the niche that you're in or the product that you're selling for how many people want your product. So the ability to scale is really, really massive because, like I said, you're utilizing Amazon's customer base. And you don't have to worry about, like I said, you don't have to worry about when it comes to, say, drop shipping or affiliate marketing where you have to advertise, do Facebook ads, TikTok ads, Google ads. You don't have to worry about that. They are something that you can maybe look at down the line if you're looking at growing your brand, outside of Amazon. But you can utilize Amazon's platform and you can make your money just on Amazon. You don't have to worry about doing your own advertising. Really, the only advertising you have to worry about, like I said, is doing Amazon PPC, which is advertising on Amazon's platform themselves. But you don't really have to worry about that in the beginning. It's really all about growing your Amazon listing, growing your product on the Amazon platform. And I think that's really, again, ties into the ease of the, sort of like the low barrier of entry with this being such a beginner-friendly model. The ability to scale, okay, is huge. And one thing I want to mention here is that what a lot of people think is that when they start an Amazon business or any online business is that the first month or two, they're going to start raking in the money. They're going to get their first order to Amazon and start raking in the money and start making profit. It doesn't work like that. What I mean with the ability to scale as well is that the higher you scale, the more cash you put back into your business, the more of a sort of like cash cow you're going to have. And I'm not saying you're going to make tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars or anything like that, right? But the ability to be able to create for yourself an online income that is consistent is huge. And the fifth reason, and I think the most important in this, why I think starting Amazon FBA business is almost necessary, especially as a beginner in 2023, especially coming into quarter 4 of this year, already in quarter 4 this year now, is it is necessary, I think, this day and age, especially as things are right now, to have an extra income. Okay, I think it's a necessity to have extra income, whether you're working full-time, part-time, whether you're doing casual, or whether you're just working for yourself, making money on the side. I think that if you're worried about the amount of income that you have right now, if you want more than what you have right now, I think using the extra time that you have, because let's face it, like basically a lot of you out there will be saying that you have no time to do so, but a lot of us know that that's not true, right? A lot of us know that that's pretty bullshit, okay? So you need to use the extra time, and it doesn't have to be Amazon FBA, okay? It's not like you watch this video and then Amazon FBA is the only thing that you have. Amazon FBA is just what I'm recommending because it's what I've been doing for such a long time now, okay? Since like 2016, 2017, and I've been teaching it myself for, since about mid-2018. So I've seen a lot of people, and people like, there's one of my biggest students to date, Athar, okay? If you haven't seen my interview, please go and check it out with him. We're actually going to have a look at having a follow-up interview with him as well, because he started from being jobless back in 2020. A lot of people lost their jobs due to the big C, but he turned that into an opportunity, okay? He was doing Uber driving. He basically used his spare time that he had while he wasn't Uber driving, he was doing his Amazon FBA business, and he started growing his own online income, and eventually he began working for himself. He was selling on Amazon full time. So you don't have to do that. That doesn't have to be your goal. But the way things are right now, having an extra income, okay, whether that's even $50, $100, okay, $500 a week, extra is going to really help a lot of you out there. And Amazon can be a great opportunity for that. Okay, like I said, it takes time to grow, but once you grow it there, it's consistent. Having consistent income come in each day, each week, each month is really, really beneficial to a lot of you out there. And everyone's in the same boat at the moment. Okay, everyone is worried about all these rising costs. Everyone's worried about, the income that they've got, and having an online business is one of the biggest things that you can do for yourself to really help yourself out. Now, I'm not saying that everyone that does Amazon FBA is just going to have their life change. Obviously, it takes work. But Amazon FBA is just a vehicle, okay? You just need to know how to drive it properly. That's the main thing. So they're my top 5 reasons why I think it is a really good idea to at least look into starting Amazon. Now, I would say the sooner you get started, the better, okay? And especially coming into quarter 4. Quarter 4 is the biggest time of the year for any e-commerce business, okay? Any online business. So please, I would highly suggest you to at least get started learning, okay? It doesn't have to be courses, it doesn't have to be coaching. You can get started with YouTube for free. You can ask questions to myself as well. Please feel free to DM me. Have links to Instagram and whatnot down below. Okay, now before I let you go, I just want to show you, if you are really interested in getting involved with something like this, if you're interested in learning the correct way to do it, especially here in Australia, there's a lot of content out there for Amazon US, for the UK, but not a lot of people talk about Amazon Australia. And this is what I've been doing myself, alongside my own online e-commerce businesses. I have been teaching Amazon FBA for quite a long time. Now, if you want someone who is an Aussie themselves, who knows how to teach Aussies, who knows more about the Aussie market, then this is something that I think would interest you. Now, this, like I said, I've been doing since mid-2018. It's been rebranded a couple of times, but Ecom Educate is the company that I founded years ago. Okay, so this is like over 5 years ago now. But this is just a complete, basically, tutorial, okay? It's a complete learning process that a lot of people have gotten a lot out of, have learned a lot about selling on Amazon using FBA here in Australia. And this actual course is called Amazon FBA Accelerator Course, Amazon Australia Accelerator Course, right? So this here, all the numbers that you see here are from actual students, okay? These are no fake numbers. Okay, these are all from students within the course. There've been a lot of success has come from the course. But the main thing I'll say is that when it comes to the success of students in Ecom Educate, it comes from this here. It comes from the ongoing support. Okay, support for people who get involved with learning about Amazon FBA is the biggest driving factor I've seen to the success. Okay, you can have the best content out there, but you're always going to run into things that you won't be able to foresee, and it's things that you can't teach in a course, things that you can't teach with video, it's things that you can't teach even with things like messaging support. Okay, you can't teach things, you can't teach people's individual experiences when it comes to Amazon, and that's why support is so important. And not only that, I think the other big thing here is that you need a community to go along with, when you're learning about Amazon FBA. It's cool to learn on your own. It's cool to have, say, someone like myself to be there for support, but you really want to feel included, and you really want to feel like you're not the only one that's trying to do this yourself. You really want to feel like, okay, I want people around me, and to be successful with something, you need to have people around you that are doing what you want to do, okay, that is successful at what you want to do. So having a community there is really, really important as well. That's why we have a private community for students that are in Ecom Educate, and I'll leave the link to this down below if you are interested. Like I said, I've been teaching this for over 5 years, and we have a lot of different success stories that have come from this. But the main thing is that people have learned so much, okay, and a lot of people, yes, you can start learning from YouTube. You can start learning for free. That's how I started learning. But even myself, when I first got started, getting involved with US courses just because I needed a step-by-step way on how to do this correctly. Okay, and it's a proven step-by-step method on how to actually get started. Start, selling your first product here on Amazon. And that's the goal of this, is to get you started with your first product up and selling on Amazon the correct way. Okay, and then having support and a community there. If you do have any issues along the way, I think this is the best way to go about it. But if you have any questions about this, please email me or just message me directly. I'll have the links down below. I'll have the link to this down below as well. But please, whatever you do, you don't have to get involved in the course. Just please get started learning Amazon FBA, or at least some other kind of e-commerce business, especially in quarter 4. And I think it's just the way that you need to go. If you don't want to work extra hours or get a second or third job, okay, I think having an online business for yourself, an e-commerce business, is something that is very lucrative. It's something that is really going to set you up to give you just a bit more flexibility, a bit more cushion. Okay, so it's really, really important because there's a lot of us out there that are struggling with this. And if you're someone that's struggling with, say, income, or someone that's struggling with, you're waiting for your next paycheck and you're sick of looking at how much meat costs in the in the supermarket and how much fuel is costing, maybe give yourself a bit of an extra cushion and get started with e-commerce. Okay, maybe get started with e-commerce. Like I said, it doesn't have to be Amazon, but I would get started with something. Apart from that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please comment down below. I'd love if you gave the channel a sub and give this video a like. I hope you enjoyed. Stay safe. I'll see you guys in the next one.